Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm back here for the meditation. I'm finally got all my ducks in a row here and am going to do the meditation for today. This last weekend has been very exciting. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and I just want to let you know that I haven't forgotten about doing the meditation. I just had to take some days off to kind of get in the flow of the energy and stuff, what's going on. On Saturday, as you know, I went to the demonstration and I had a really good time. And I'm really, really grateful for everybody that was there and that everybody that took part. Before I start on the meditation, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. I'm using the Gilded Tarot again. This is my general go-to deck because it's just got beautiful images and it's just a really great deck. Yeah, I saw the news about the parade. I saw the news about the tragedy in Minnesota. My thoughts and heartfelt empathy goes out to the family and friends of these individuals who were affected. And my heart and my calming thoughts and ideas go to the governor of Minnesota, who's a very good man and who doesn't deserve to go through all the stuff that he's going through. But that being said, I am going to pull a card and see what the present energies are. And yeah, it's sunny and beautiful again today. We're having like really nice weather, summer weather. First day of summer should be around the corner. I think it's on the 20th, 22nd or so, around the 22nd of June. And we're already getting summer weather, so it's, it is what it is. But anyway, so that's good? Okay, thank you. And the card I get for the day is the Magician. And the Magician I identify about people who are like sleight of hand, something up your sleeve, something is about to be revealed. And I think it's a good outcome card. I don't know as far as the basis of everything that's going on. I think we are seeing that the emperor has no clothes. We're seeing all of the things that are going on in the real world. And I think that the Magician is the embodiment of the person who's used their power and stuff like that to, I don't know, to kind of push their weight around and to show people, this aspect of themselves. I don't know. But at any rate, so that's what this, to me, this is what this embodies. This is like the sleight of hand, the pulling the rabbit out of the hat, so to speak. But at any rate, that's the card that I pulled. And I'm going to, as I start the meditation, I got to move the chair. As I start this meditation, I'm going to invoke on angel cards. The card that I pulled was called Bereitschaft, which means willingness. And I have no idea where it is, but these cards have like words on them. And the word Bereitschaft was the card that came up on that particular day. And I would have to turn the camera around to show the card. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read the meditation and then I'll continue with the tarot. Today is day number 6. It's June 16th, 2025. And the word for the day is willingness. Let me move this again. And I'm wearing my Come From Away shirt. I love this shirt. Okay. I said, so I had a few days off. Have you got something for me? Something new for me? And Sunshine says, as if the news and events weren't enough. For you. I said, it's been pretty crazy. Some of it's sad. A young woman transitioned because of ignorance and brainwashing. Sunshine says, there will be more of this, I'm afraid, before it is all said and done. The hope is that the people who are willing to do crazy things like this will be betrayed by those closest to them. They are, like scared animals, backed into a corner. I said, yes, but sad all the same. The lies are coming about fast and furious, and this is becoming a race to expose them for what they really are. And Sunshine says, after we are done, you can ask your cards about how we go from there. It may prove surprising to you. Just don't lose hope. I said, I won't. The demonstration gave me reason enough to not to. Sunshine says, so let's get going. Are you ready? And I said, yes, as ready as I'll ever be. I've actually been looking forward to talking to you, getting the feminine energy flowing. Sunshine says, the world indeed needs feminine energies. I said, okay, the German word is Bereitschaft, but in English it means willingness. A willingness to do, say, and be what we are created to be. Sunshine says, you were created to be a messenger, a teller of good news, a person who conveys ideas and values, perhaps to a smallish audience, but your reach will grow bigger. Each time you speak your truths, it will touch the lives of others, and the ripple effects will be the overriding result. I said, I'm getting that. The angels are telling me each day that I should exercise a willing spirit, a willing idea, and a willing heart. And Sunshine says, what does that mean? It sounds like a bunch of word salad. I said, I guess it does, but I think it means that with body, mind, and soul, one must be willing to take the chances, to forge ahead without fear of retribution. I understand that fear is the opposite of what we are striving to do. And Sunshine says, sounds like you understand the ideas. You are doing your part to inspire understanding through your willingness to follow your heart and soul's intentions. I said, it is sometimes difficult to do. And Sunshine says, yes, and you are doing it. I said, we all want certain outcomes and specific results, but should I be less willing if the outcome is not what I desire? Sunshine says, you noticed that with the parade. You said that the best outcome would be for it to be canceled. But seeing it happen was an absolute disaster, which you picked up on with the cards. That moment was demonstrated by squeaking tires. I said, yes, and that line from Galaxy Quest entered my mind. And she said, which one? And I said, the one about the guy saying, I'll get my boys up here with some WD-40 to help take care of the squeaky door. It also makes me think of my rods. They have a funny squeak to them as well. In all seriousness, though, the actual parade became a parody in and of itself. People are having fun with it now. The response to it was absolutely karmic. And Sunshine said, and then I said, shall I continue? And Sunshine said, let it flow. And I said, okay. I watch a lot of tarot card readers, and the readings will say that they are striving to keep their prejudices and wants or desires at bay when selecting their cards. They strive each time to maintain objectivity and hope that the outcome of their readings will be a result that could or might happen. Sunshine says, the energies are constant. Many of these people, yourself included, are picking up on the energies. You see, what energy tells us was always going to be about being objective. You respond to the energies that are presented, and then you have 3 or 4 readers with the same conclusion as you. And you can ascertain that their prejudices are not present. The results are conclusive. That is why other readers watch various readers. They do not rely on things to their own interpretations, but they rely on that of others. It is why it is becomes important for people to enter into things of this nature with an open mind. I said, still, reading energy is difficult. Trying to determine what the energy is going to do is rather like jumping off a cliff and hoping that soft water is below. And Sunshine says, you sound like Bugs Bunny cartoon there. I said, that is perhaps what inspired me. I've done this before, thinking about various things. I've probably been watching cartoons prior to writing this. And Sunshine, so I said, shall I continue? And Sunshine says, you can. And I said, I cannot say with certainty what the future will hold, but I can enter into an idea that regardless of the outcome, all will be well and there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, that gives me hope. And Sunshine says, it should. It isn't a divinely inspired idea. No one knows what tomorrow is going to bring, but it will perhaps bring you closer to the divine truth that what you ponder, things getting better, they generally do. The universe does not thrive on punishing you or creating that disharmony. That bit is left to free will. But the universal energies give you what you put into it. Why was the parade a disaster? The person also wanted it had the person who wanted it had put so much negative energy into that it was the only perceivable outcome. The universe merely boomeranged the entire energy onto the person who created the disharmony in the first place. I said, then he blamed everyone else for it. And Sunshine said, well, it stands to reason. You all put the energy into the outcome. The thing is, the energy is a very powerful force. Generally speaking, the positive or negative energy is always going to have an impact on the outcome. The outcome is not always the desired result. But let's take an idea that 10 million people who protested on Saturday put the energy of failure into the parade, and that is what happened. The guy said, rain or shine, the parade will happen. The energy that he's stewing in is same sort of energy you stewed in some 15 years ago. You wanted to sing a solo, and your worth as a singer was based entirely on the idea that if you sing, you will get to show yourself, and you will get some credit for being a good singer. You learned that your worth did not lie in your singing a solo, but rather on the contribution you made as a singer in a group. Today you are singing a solo, but it was not done as a way to prove to a group that you are worthy, but to prove to yourself that you are, that there is no need for you to show or to prove your talents or abilities because it is there. As a child, you learned a harsh lesson about your birthday party. The kids you invited were given the invitations, but they threw them in the garbage, and this was a sign that you were desperate for their attention. I said, yeah, it was awful, but my own sense of self-worth as a child was on whether or not people came to my party. None of them did, and it felt positively degrading. And Sunshine says, you are 54 years old now. You do not worry about that stuff anymore. But a 79-year-old man is wanting people to come to his party. I said, yeah, after fleecing them of their money. My bet is that a lot of people would have come if they could have afforded to. But they are now all impoverished, and today blame everyone else, specifically those with a different color skin, for their station in life. Okay, moving on. I said, I'm willing to give myself a chance, and I believe that the element of willingness is the reason for my not giving up. No matter what may happen in the coming days and weeks, I'm willing to listen to my angels and guides as I look to their lighthouse and seek their direction on how to sail my ship into harbor. It is not always going to be what I want, but it will always be what I need to move myself through this thing called life. Regardless of what may rise before me and attempt to hamper my movements, I am always known that a safe harbor is before me. Sunshine says, you've always loved lighthouses. I said, yes, and I remember writing a story about a lighthouse keeper. I called it The Wise Men of the Sea. And it was about two old men who people all judged for being odd, but they were very wise and caring. It was a fun story to write. And Sunshine says it contained an important lesson about appearances being deceiving. I said, I'll be okay. I will be okay even when the uncertainties that encapsulate life feels as though it will swallow me whole. Will I be able to see the light? And Sunshine says, yes. And I said, perhaps. But I believe that this is where trust and hope reside in my heart. The calm ocean and the lighthouse will always be present, no matter the outcome. I will come through and remind myself that no matter how long the sea stays calm and serene, I will not give up. And I will make it to shore. Through the darkness, there is always light. Through willingness, there's always an inner strength. And through my heart and mind, there will always be my guides and angels to keep me sane and see me through. What a great message and wonderful energy. And Sunshine says, indeed, the use of the light is how people are guided. Those who ignore the light get rain on their parades. Like energies attract like results. When you post positivity into the universe, you get a positive result. That is the way it works. I said, thank you, Sunshine, for this message. There is so much clarity here. And she says, as well, there should be. Remember, you are the captain of this vessel. You are the decider of your fate. All the good that comes to you is because of the good you put into the universe. Let that be the beacon that will guide you home. And that's where we ended. So that is the end of the meditation for today. But it is very, very true. And now we get back to this card, the Magician. And I think this is the idea. What you put in is what you get out. If you decide to thrive on tricks and showing people the what's up your sleeve while deceiving other people, then the result is the outcome that you will get. And I think that what happened is that this is what the president put into his parade, and this is the ultimate outcome that he got. He showed deception, and people called him out for it. The next card that I pulled is the Knight of Cups. And I don't remember what the Knight of Cups is, and I'm trying to think what the guides are trying to tell me with regards to him, but I really don't know what his card means, so I'm going to look it up. And this is what I sometimes have to do, because that is what it is. The Knight of Cups in his beautiful robe set forth with idealistic expectation. With subtle theatrical expression, he holds his cup high amid streamers of celebration upon his returning home. Or upon his rearing horse, sorry. Excuse me. The vision of our romantic knight. As a young man, he would be romantic and idealistic. The energy of this knight symbolizes always felt on an emotional level. He represents offers being brought to you that will accompany by a high level of excitement. Well, let's put this in context of the parade and the protests. People were not enthusiastic about the parade. And no matter how much he tried to make them enthusiastic about it, you can't make people enthusiastic about something if they're not. However, instead of responding to that in a negative way, the people said, well, let's do a protest. And then the idea spread far and wide. There were protests all over the world. People were enthusiastic. They were excited. They had something to celebrate. And they put that excitement into the universe, and the excitement came back and just flooded over the world. And so all of the things that are happening right now is based on this excitement that people have. There's this new sense of awakening that is going on in the world, and people are becoming more excited. Now, contrary to what this guy is doing, these people are excited, and they are expressing that excitement. The next card is the Knight of Swords. Interesting knight energy here. The Knight of Swords, and I'll just do this real quick so that we can keep it all in a thing. The knight is the only one showing the sword, representing his ability to take fearless action. His sword is raised in observant owl, representing wisdom. The job of the Knight of Swords is to teach us to use our discernment, to see things as they really are, and to have the strength to deal with them appropriately. Now that is what the protests were all about. The enthusiasm comes in, and then we have the discernment. We decide what information we want to take out, what we want to release, what we want to accept. And this is where the excitement and logic intertwine each other. We are logically minded. We have discernment. We take things as they come, but there's an underlying excitement going on with it, and it's all propelled by this person. And the next card is the Four of Pentacles. This is the hoarding card. This is the guy who took all the money, and then he wanted all these people to come and celebrate his birthday, but they had no money because he's hoarding it all. He's got it all right here. This is what I argued throughout the whole week. I said, he probably would have had a bigger outcome and more people at his parade if he hadn't fleeced them of all their money in the first place. And this is what happened. This guy fleeced these people of their money, and then they couldn't come. They couldn't afford it. There was no way for them to get from their homes in Idaho or Wisconsin or Nevada or California or some to get to Washington D.C. for this parade. The prices have hiked up on all the things. Gasoline prices are probably also higher. I mean, there is no way for these people to get to D.C. to experience this parade because they're broke. Because he's taken all their money. He's fleeced them of all their money because of bitcoins and all this other bullshit that he's, excuse my language, is putting out there. This is not rocket science. One doesn't need tarot cards to recognize what's going on. But this guy has fleeced every person that he had that supported him, and now they have no money, and now they can't get to DC to see his little parade. And the outcome is the Sun card. Sun card is the truth emerging. This isn't just the happiest card in the tarot deck, and our outcome is being happy and filled with joy about what's going on. This is also a card that puts light into the realms of darkness. The light is things are coming to light. Things are happening at an exponentially fast rate in the current situation that the world is in. And the fact that it is all caused by this guy here, the outcome is the Sun, and the outcome is enlightenment. We will be enlightened by the events that are taking place around us. We will see enlightenment happening even though the protests are over, even though the parade is over, even though all this stuff is done and dusted. We are still experiencing the outcome of it, and that is the things coming to light. Things are coming to light, and they are coming to light quickly. Many readers have been saying this. They have been focused on this, and they have been absolutely accurate in their assertions about it. We are at a point now where the light is going to shine through, and there is nothing that anyone can do to stop it from happening. So hang in there, everybody. I think we're coming to a point now that the world has been waiting for. We have been waiting for this. We are anticipating it, and we are happy about it. So, with that said, I wish you a wonderful day. Have a great week. And I'll be back again tomorrow, probably pulling some cards and finding some questions of where we go from here. And I think where we're going from here is right here. That's where we're going. So, chin up, keep smiling. It's coming, and have a great day. And as always, namaste.